of the parents who are incarcerated are men.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a whole group of men who are away from the family unit. What are those children getting?
And we have one of the largest incarceration rates in all the Western world at the moment. So there are more people incarcerated than I believe live in the state or in the city of New York, right? Yeah. So there's more than 10 million.
Yeah.
More than 10 million people are in our prison system. So we're talking about a very large population of people, right?
Yes. And so here are these men who are incarcerated. Who is teaching their children to be responsible, accountable, and respectful?
Right.
If we can get those core things taught to children, then we will have a society that has a bit better chance of engaging in healthy ways. You know, we have all seen evidence of young people who have gotten themselves sort of involved in behaviors, gang activity, drugs, and that sort of things. And a lot of that is because they have no one to really push those kinds of things. And let's be honest, sometimes when a dad gets involved and tells you this is not something that's acceptable in our family, kids have a tendency sometimes to take a more active role in listening to what they've said to them.
And also, too, we want to look at this as where is a male figure coming in the life. So maybe the father isn't there, or, you know, perhaps the father has passed away and moved on. Can an uncle step up? Can a relative, can a grandparent, you know? And really, again, I hate to keep using the word, but diversify our approach to what male figures do you have in your life, and hold them accountable for helping to raise that child and be an integral part of the family unit. That's really important, because the more love around a child and the more consistency around the child, not only statistically but just personally, I think it yields a better result, and the child feels that they are of value and that they are someone. They're important and they're not just lost.
And what does it mean to a child? So a child is growing up without a male present within the family. We had talked earlier about, like, what are some of the other areas where a child who hasn't had the male present within the family, where do they find that those kinds of mentors, or a male that they can kind of look up to?
Sure. You know, children are diverse, and some children have great coping skills. They just naturally have them. They just exist for them. They can see the world in a more balanced approach. Other children don't, and they'll go to individuals or groups of people that are maybe not as healthy for them, that give them that sort of stability and balance that children require. Those are the ones you have to worry about. The kids that sort of have the well-rounded approach sort of have this idea of radical acceptance, that my dad's not in my life, or I don't have a parent, but my mother's great and she takes care of me, and that's okay. And they'll find their way through that. It's the ones that we get worried about that seem to turn to gangs or drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism, because they don't have the skills and they don't have a stable male presence in their life, or somebody that they can look up to, that they can actually touch, something that's tangible. It's one thing to look up to a sports star like LeBron James or something like that, but you can't touch him in dialogue with him. You know, there's not an authentic response that he has. He doesn't get back to you in the way that you think. So to have somebody in your life that's male that, you know, holds your hand and talks to you about difficult things is really important.
Because in a way, the gang is a family structure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you end up...
It's a need.
It's
fulfilling a need, a void within yourself of now I have a community that values me, but the value that they're putting on you is superficial. Yeah. It's not an intrinsic, I genuinely care about you. It's a I need you to do this.
Yeah. And he used the word community. There's 4 words that we typically use in all of our, as a kickoff to all of our sessions, and one word is community. What is the structure that you're building within this family that allows everybody to thrive? We also ask parents to think about what is the legacy you're leaving behind that is going to allow your children to catapult to the success they need to have. We also talk to them about having a presence. You have to be present. You can be in the home, but you also have to be present.
Right.
If you are emotionally turned off, intellectually turned off, then the child isn't getting what they need from you.
Right.
And then we talk to them about your ability to be balanced. Helps your children to be balanced. They're never too high, never too low, that they know life is going to be full of ups and downs, and you have to be able to navigate those things. So when we talk to people, and our grant is targeted for low-income, fathers in Broome and Tioga County. However, we turn no father or father figure away. If you come to us and say, I want to get engaged in this program, we will work with you. Funny thing is, it's a father's program. We had on one of our early sessions, we had a woman who was raising 4 boys. She said, I want to come to the class. I need to know what I need to teach my boys about becoming a man.
Yeah.
So we said, come on.
Sounds right.
And one of the big pieces, just to piggyback off of Andrew, there is anger.
Yeah.
Anger seems to be a big thing for
men.
fathers in particular.
Yeah.
And
I remember when I was growing up, the thing was, you wait until your father gets home.
Sure.
And and you always danced around that anger thing, because dad would blow up, and then then all hell would break loose, right? So
yeah, certainly. And the anger piece is something that we tell them, that anger is a healthy emotion.
Right.
Rage is not healthy.
Right.
And too often when we talk about our discipline and our punishment part of the program, we talk about how to harness your anger in a constructive and productive way, as opposed to punishing a kid, which usually stems from rage. Right? Anger comes from a lack of control over a situation, whether your kids are misbehaving or traffic. You can't control it. This disrupts your day. Therefore, you become angry. How you handle that anger and eliminate some of those triggers is you being proactive, you being self-analytical, stepping back and saying, okay, is it really this that I'm upset about, or is this a bigger problem? And finding a way to be consistent, because your children, like you said, will watch you. Right. And how you control yourself and how you behave, they mimic that behavior. It sets a standard and a level of expectation that then children aspire to be. Well, dad doesn't lose his patience and doesn't scream and yell. And it's important to, when children have fits of rage, to realize that they are children.
The children
have that. And parents take that very personally.
Right.
They feel like, oh, well, I do all these things for my child. I'm always engaged, and I'm trying to, I provide food and a house, and life is difficult, and why don't they appreciate this? Well, the child's job isn't to give that back to you.
Right.
Right. That's not a child's job. So have an almost business-like approach to the discipline. In this family, we don't hit others. In this family, we don't yell at each other. I don't yell at mommy. Mommy doesn't yell at me. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm disappointed with your behavior. Sure, you can be angry, but the way you handle that tells the child that you're consistent, you're firm. Children pick up on perception. They understand when you're upset with them. But the way you handle that then teaches them, okay, screaming and yelling isn't going to get me what I want, because as we all know in life, as you grow up and become an adult, screaming and yelling doesn't get you what you want.
Yeah.
Hardly ever.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it's good for reality TV, but most of us don't live in that idiom. So
that's for sure. But anger does, like you were suggesting, anger does have a very positive. There's something very positive about anger when it's used in a very constructive way.
Yes, and to get a hold of that and to find the root of your anger, why you're really upset, is a core part of our curriculum. We'll be offering an anger management class through our program this summer in August 14th through the 18th, I believe. But please call to sign up if you're interested in that. It'll be in the evenings for a week, and we'll talk about those issues and how that affects your children. What does your anger look like to your child? Remember, you're an adult man, and these are little children. So to you, you look like Godzilla. Yeah. You don't think your anger is out of control, but yet your perception of it is you don't see you. So that's important, is that self-realization, and showing your child how to handle anger is really important. Yeah, again, balance, right?
Balance.
So my guests have been Andrew Morrison and Erik Lasky from the New Pathways to Fatherhood program at Family Enrichment Network. And Andrew, how could people get in touch with you again? It's just that, in case they were
Okay. So the number at Family Enrichment is 723-8313. And the extension they want to use is 838. That is the coordinator for our program, Dan Lesh. You also can reach us at Fatherhood at familyenrichment.org. And that's another way to get a hold of us.
And they can also find you on Facebook, too.
That's correct. If you just type in New Pathways for Fathers, or even go to the Family Enrichment Network, there is a link that will take you to our program, which will give you updates, and all our information is provided there.
Well, Andrew and Eric, this has been a great conversation on fatherhood. And for all of you that are out there, I hope you have a great Father Day and be good and gentle to yourselves. Have a great day.